So, more outrage and disgust from Dáil Éireann today. It's comical. And the government are claiming that ministers weren't aware of these tapes for the past 4 years, which is ludicrously unbelievable, given that Shatter and Callanan seem to be very friendly bedfellows, discuss all types of things like TD's penalty points and other stuff. Can we really believe that this never came up in conversation, that there was a Garda investigation into the banks and all this evidence exists, that none of this was discussed in the last 4 years between the Minister for Justice and Callanan, and therefore that the Cabinet were unaware of it? No. Don't believe a word of it. Bullshit. Absolute lies. Lies, lies, lies. They had full knowledge of it. They had to have. There's no way they couldn't have known about it. And now the evidence is out, and the question is, who released it now? Why was it released? And these are important questions. My own feeling is that the government released it. The government gave the go-ahead for this to become news in the public domain. And that achieves a couple of things. It protects the bankers, the people who might otherwise have been brought to court, prosecuted by the DPP following the Garda investigation. It protects them because now the evidence is in the public domain. It's been heard by all and sundry. It's therefore questionable whether it can be admissible in a prosecution case. And if it is admissible, then the obvious first line of defence from anybody brought to court, charged with corruption or treason or criminal activity, is that they can't have a fair trial because this has already been through the media, it's been in the press, it's been on TV. They can't get a fair hearing, therefore the case should be dismissed. Sneaky. It also protects government, this government and previous governments. Anybody who's been in Dáil Éireann in the past 10 years. Because calling for an Oireachtas Enquiry instead of a public investigation, instead of allowing this to proceed with the Garda, calling for an Oireachtas Enquiry into the banking scandal means that they have total control over what gets released from such an inquiry. And the opportunity is there to whitewash any involvement by politicians in the scandal, going back to the previous government and this government. I'm sure there are tapes that exist since Fine Gael Labour came into government. There must be tapes between the regulator, the central bank, the banks and Michael Noonan. That's all going to be whitewashed out. A lot of people don't know, but it has been reported in international media that NATO are campaigning to have Ireland brought into their organisation and for Ireland to have a seat on the NATO Council. Now, I've been kind of suggesting to people for a while that there's going to be an almighty race within Dáil Éireann and among the senior politicians who at the next election will strategically retire for family reasons or the end of their political life or blah 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 blah, and they'll be fighting over who gets that seat on the NATO Council. Mr. Shatter is a prime candidate for that, given his connections with Israeli influences and foreign government and connections. and I'm pretty sure that it suits him that this evidence comes out and ends effectively a Garda investigation into banking fraud. When are the people going to have enough? When are the people going to take to the streets? This corruption just goes on and on and on. I've said it before, the political system that led to this crisis is still in place. The people, the same people in the political system are still there. The banking system that led to the crisis is still in place, still operating. Nothing has changed. And many of the people at the top in the banking system are still there. Nothing has changed. The climate of greed, manipulation, spin still exists. And it's sickening that there isn't more public outrage, marching on the streets, protesting outside banks, protesting outside TD and councillor offices and clinics. But this all has to come to an end. The country is in a shambles, an absolute shambles. And we have to scrap it and start again. That's the only way to move forward. Nothing is going to get fixed from within. Dáil Éireann can't get fixed from within. Financial sector can't get fixed from within. We need new ideas. We need people to come up with new suggestions. There are groups that are proposing changes, real changes that will make a difference. DDI is one idea. There's a group that suggesting a new banking system called Aerobank. That's another idea. We need ideas. We don't need more bullshit. We don't need more lies. We don't need more fucking tribunals for the judiciary to cream more money from the state. We don't need any of that. We need to start again.